welcome to I Learn English. My name is Jed. I will be your tour guide of the English language. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about negative questions and how to form them. First, I will explain it in English e depois eu explico em português. So, let's get to it. So, negative questions. Why don't we take a look at that? So, negative questions follow the same general rules and structure as affirmatives, negatives, interrogatives, tag questions, and some other lessons that we've already talked about. So, if this is your first time tuning in, you might want to watch those first, but you might already have some experience with English. The main idea of a negative question is really that we just change its auxiliary verb. To form a negative question, you simply change its auxiliary from its positive form to its negative form. Aren't you hungry? Don't I know you from somewhere? Can't they change the time? Didn't we ask him? So they're exactly the same as a regular question. All we're doing is changing that auxiliary verb from a positive to a negative. Negative questions can also have an interrogative before them, just like any other type of question. So, didn't the client ask us first? Why didn't the client ask us first? What wasn't the client told about? Why couldn't they change the time? Why wasn't I told about this? How many units didn't they return? Okay, so negative questions can take an interrogative just like any other type of question. There are a couple of guidelines for voice intonation with regard to negative questions. If you've watched the lesson on tag questions, then this will already be familiar to you. When the speaker has a legitimate question, there is a rise in intonation with the negative auxiliary verb and with the interrogative if the speaker chooses. Why didn't anyone contact us first? What wasn't he told about the incident? So when you have a legitimate, real question, there's going to be a rise in your intonation with the interrogative, if you choose, and with the negative auxiliary verb. The second thing to keep in mind with regard to voice intonation in negative questions is that when the speaker is just kind of offering a regular statement, the speaker's voice will be slightly more gentle, slightly go down a bit. For example, why don't we have dessert now? Isn't this great? Who doesn't like to relax once in a while? Wasn't that nice? So when you're kind of offering a regular statement or something just for validation or confirmation, then your voice is gentle and does not rise at all. And finally, some closing thoughts with negative questions. Negative questions are formed by changing the auxiliary verb into its negative form. They can add interrogatives just like regular questions. And finally, they follow the same voice intonation pattern as tag questions, meaning that there will be a rise in intonation if it's a legitimate, real question during the interrogative and auxiliary verb. Or if the speaker is just offering up a regular statement, then the interrogative and negative auxiliary verb will be spoken more gently. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope this class helped. Feel free to ask any questions, comments, ideas, suggestions, or recommendations in the comment box below. And now we will continue the class in Portuguese. Oi, gente, vamos falar sobre perguntas negativas. Perguntas negativas seguem as mesmas regras que afirmativos, negativos, interrogativos, tag questions, modal verbs, que a gente já fez. E a ideia principal é simplesmente mudar o verbo auxiliar da forma positivo para negativo. Simplesmente isso. Vamos olhar. Então, podemos ver que as perguntas negativas são criadas por mudar o verbo auxiliar. O auxiliary verb da forma positiva até a forma negativa. Por exemplo, are you hungry? Aren't you hungry? Don't I know you from somewhere? Can't they change the time? Didn't we ask him? Então, estamos simplesmente mudando a forma do auxiliary verb de positivo para negativo. E também podemos colocar um interrogativo antes do verbo auxiliar. Por exemplo, didn't the client ask us first? Why didn't the client ask us first? What wasn't the client told about? Why couldn't they change the time? Why wasn't I told about this? How many units didn't they return? Então, as perguntas negativas também podem ter um interrogativo antes, sem problema. Vamos falar sobre entonação de voz com perguntas negativas. Quando uma pessoa tem uma pergunta de verdade, a entonação vai ficar mais forte com o interrogativo e auxiliary verb. Why didn't anyone contact us first? What wasn't he told about the incident? Então, fica mais forte no início quando você tem uma pergunta de verdade. Se você não tem uma pergunta de verdade, está falando mais ou menos uma coisa normal, sua voz vai ficar mais suave. Why don't we have dessert now? Você fala isso depois de uma janta muito boa. Why don't we have dessert now? Isn't this great? Who doesn't like to relax once in a while? Wasn't that nice? Com frases assim, sua voz vai ficar mais suave. E para encerrar, perguntas negativas são formadas por mudar o auxiliary verb de positivo para negativo. Pode colocar um interrogativo antes do verbo auxiliar. E eles têm as mesmas regras de entonação de voz que tag questions. E quando é uma pergunta de verdade, o interrogativo, se você tem, e auxiliary verb vão ficar mais forte. Quando você está falando algo mais normal, mais comum, sua voz fica mais suave. Então, muito obrigado, gente. E qualquer dúvida, indicação, recomendação, pode digitar no comment box e vamos ficar em contato. Muito obrigado e bons estudos.